Hello, welcome back, guys. We are taking a look at Alibaba and what is happening today in the markets, pretty much. We're going to examine some news that just came out from Alibaba's perspective here. And I also kind of wanted to take a little bit of a look, a comparison between a company like Alibaba here and this kind of sort of like meme companies that you see all around. For instance, AMC today, which is a company that is down 35% almost, and it is a company that has been up, during meme times, and it used to be up in the past month or so, maybe a little bit less. But all in all, it is a trade. It is not a company that has any fundamentals here. You will notice that everything is in the red here. It is basically a no-touch company. And I'm gonna be making a video about these kinds of companies after I'm done with this one because I think it's important and very, very relevant to the discussion. But I kind of wanted to compare that to a company like Alibaba, which has also been beaten down. And you will see here when I fetch the data for Alibaba that the company is basically level today in terms of what they are doing. But overall, it has been going down. And the past year, it has been a bloodbath for Alibaba. The thing is, this is not the same company like AMC is. It is not a bankrupt company. Actually, it's quite the contrary. It's a company that's making tons of cash, and it's only been affected in terms of like COVID, the lockdowns, the supply chains in China, and its net income has gone down. We have talked about this. Yes, it had suffered that, and this is why the P ratio is also rather high here. And we know that this probably, more than likely, is not going to last for a long while. When at least China comes back to their senses and actually stop doing these ridiculous lockdowns, it will happen at some point. Then I'm pretty sure the company will flourish again. And you can't really be treating these companies the same way like AMC and Alibaba. They're completely different stories here, completely different risks. And yeah, Alibaba does have the risk of a potential delist that's being talked about quite significantly. And people are scared of this and they think that the stock price will go down. And it is true. If a delist happens, the stock price could go down, maybe even 20% or something of that sort. Who knows? If it actually gets delisted. More than likely, I think it's gonna be temporary because that's what tends to happen. There's gonna be like probably a temporary, pretty much drop because of the news, and because there's generally speaking going to be less volatility when it's not trading in the U.S. markets, less volume. It's gonna be a little bit tougher to buy and sell. Pretty much is what that means. And so yeah, it shouldn't really have the same amount of funds that could be incoming as they are from the U.S. So it's gonna be a little bit of a weird story there, and could again have a little bit of an impact. But for the long run, again, this is a company that is doing tremendously well, and regardless of the situation between China and the U.S. here, with all the documentation that the U.S. wants from Chinese companies, and whether China will comply with that, and the SEC will actually be appeased, I should say. We'll see what that happens, but regardless of that, the company is still the same company and it's still making tons of cash. And as you can understand, a lot of people have been shaken off from this recent downturn. And pretty much it's a downturn that doesn't seem to have an end, right? It has some glimpses here of potential faith, but then it goes down again. So it's the same story, and people are getting desperate. And you will see it in places like StockTwits, for example, where people are talking about this company that is always red. It's like it never goes up. It's a piece of trash and things of that sort. And this actually kind of signifies to me that it may be one of the best times to actually be buying this one. And I have been talking about it. That's my opinion, of course. I have been talking about it in our Discord channel, which you can, of course, join. You can find a link in the description box below this video. But I have been talking about it, and I think that's what's going to eventually happen as more and more people are shaken off and taken off from this company, and even large funds or SoftBank, for example, that we talked about. Then we could be seeing some others starting to accumulate here, and then potentially driving the price upwards eventually when things get back to normal, because you cannot really suppress this kind of company for a long while, I believe. At least that's what I think. Again, it's my opinion, but we'll see. Of course, there are risks with China. This is understandable. There's always some risk when you are actually looking to be buying a company at a cheaper price. Something has to give, something has to have happened. But I was taking a look at the news today, and I actually saw this one, that Asia Hedge funds scoop up Alibaba C after stock rout. And you will see here that some of the Asia hedge funds actually got 311% extra shares of Alibaba. That's more than quadrupling their shares here. This is actually very, very impressive, and again, it's something that I would expect from institutions here, but it's interesting to see that Asia hedge funds actually are styling to pile up on the stock here. And you will see they more than double their positions in Alibaba, and C Limited is the other one, a company that we have talked about, which is nowhere near as good as Alibaba is in terms of their financials. But again, it must have been beaten down tremendously. I may make a video about it as well. Now, the number of Alibaba shares held by the Asia-focused fund increased 311% during the period, while C jumped by 110%. You see that they are still aggressive, but not as much as with Alibaba here. It makes a ton of sense to me. And again, that's based on the analysis of 15 Asian asset managers here, including hedge funds, Aspects or Apex Management and Oasis Management. They had at least 200 million in quarter-end holdings here. Of course, yeah, you know that we have had Asia funds put to the test pretty much, because the markets in China have been seriously destroyed lately. And you will see that an NASDAQ gauge with heavy exposure to Chinese technology firms has slumped nearly 67% since a February 2021 peak. And that I don't think it's going to last for a long while, is what I was saying earlier. And you will see that a lot of these hedge funds are starting to pile up on companies like Alibaba. You'll see that their shares have slumped 72% since October 2020, where crackdowns started happening. If you remember that from the Chinese government, it's not the financials that affect the company at all, frankly. It's all about the politics and the government here, nothing else than that. And C was actually down 82% since October 2021, that is. So absolutely insane here. And you will see another thing here when I continue pressing the story here, that the semiconductor trade is losing luster, with some of the Asian hedge funds selling AMD here, the second largest maker of chips that run computers. Nvidia Corp and TSMC is the other one that they have been selling pretty much, kind of piling up on the cheap stuff, like Alibaba is, and the one that have been completely annihilated, because companies like AMD, for instance, they are still pretty expensive. And so I'm definitely in for this kind of move, since this is what I'm invested in myself as well right now, like companies like Alibaba. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video because I think it has the potential of a turnaround. Maybe it will happen at some point, I'm pretty sure. Again, take it with a grain of salt, that's my opinion, but that's what I think. I strongly think that, but we'll see. I just definitely wanted to make this video just to let you know of the news, because I think this is important, and this can go hidden for a long while, and then all of a sudden you learn about it when the stock is up like 30% or something of that sort. It's probably worthwhile knowing about it already, now that the stock price is still suppressed. But thank you for watching. Remember to like the video if that helps you a little bit, and also subscribe if you're not a subscriber already, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye bye.